and welcome back to my channel. So today I have another Sims 4 speed build for you, and I finally did not a tiny home. I feel like I've been doing those a lot lately, but this one's actually a slightly larger home and is meant for a family. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, I love this house. Like, I love this house so much. I think it came out so fantastic, and I'm not trying to I know it sounds like I'm trying to be like, I'm an amazing builder, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying, like, I really like the way it turned out. You know what I mean? Like, when you do something, you create something and you're like, this is what I had in mind and I'm really happy about it. Like, that's what I'm saying. But I wanted this to be kind of a slightly like skinnier house. Like, I didn't want it to be super wide, but rather like kind of long. And I don't know why, but that's just like kind of what was in my head. And I think it came together so nicely, and it ends up being a 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom home. And honestly, it has like a bunch of stuff in it. Like, we actually have a small breakfast nook, we have a laundry room, we have like a kid dedicated like play and like work area. Like, we even have a basketball hoop in the backyard. Like, I don't know, I feel like I did so much in this build. Like, I'm super excited about it. Like, it's a pretty large house, especially to only be a 2-bedroom, but like I said, there's so many other things in it. And I'm also really excited because I kind of did this, like, what I think is an interesting kind of architectural like feature inside of the home. And I feel like I've seen houses where you have this like big window above the door and you can like see in, and you see this like chandelier and you can kind of see like through the house, and it just looks really cool. And that's, I don't know why, but I decided that that's what I wanted. So we end up actually having like a large window over the front door that you can see in, and see like a large hanging light that you can actually see all the way down. Basically that green portion of the house, you can see all the way through it. And you can actually, like, there's a hole. This sounds so weird. There's you can actually from the second floor look down into the first floor in 2 different locations. I don't know, it just seemed really cool and like interesting, and something that I just thought would like fit this home, if that makes sense. So there's actually something similar to that on the back side of the house as well. We have a big window with the light hanging down, and that's kind of like that really open space where I actually put a bunch of kids stuff. So anyways, you'll see what I mean when I get there. Like, I know I'm trying to explain this when I'm not even close to being done with that portion yet, but you can kind of see like I've put in that window there, and so you'll be able to see in and see like a light hanging down. And I'm like, I don't know, it just felt so cool to make. I do end up making some alterations to the back of the home. I think I end up expanding that green portion out just a little bit, just to make room for a few more things. And we ended up using this lovely front door. You can see I got out a bunch of front door, basically all the white front doors that I thought might match with these windows, but I found that one. I believe that's the one, it's from Strangerville, although like it doesn't look like Strangerville. Does that make sense? Like, although I love the stuff that comes with that pack, it has like some beautiful colors. This one's more simple, and I love the like mail slot on the door, which is kind of funny because I end up putting like the mailbox from Snowy Escape kind of on the side of the house. Like, I don't know, maybe that's where the newspaper goes, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have newspapers in this game. We have in like other iterations of The Sims, but anyways, I'm going off on a tangent about newspapers. But anyways, I end up putting in a mailbox there on the wall, and you can see I'm trying to figure out where I wanted those like areas where you could kind of see down into the first floor, and I'm trying to make sure that it makes sense. Like, the walls weren't like just like in the middle of that, you know. I wanted it to be like a really nice thought out area. And I'm not going to lie, I think we're actually going to skip forward a little bit because I mess around with the stairs for a while and like the floor plan. Like, so I cut that out so you don't have to see me struggle through that, but trying to get that in there and visualizing where I wanted that space. And we actually end up having like a lovely galley kitchen. It's so big, there's so much space. And we even like in the breakfast like nook area, I end up having a little bit of cabinetry in there too. Like, I figured, you know, they might bring some stuff out when they have a family breakfast. And I don't know, I feel like I'm coming up with this like vision in my head of that, like, I don't know, like that perfect family like that you see like on sitcoms and stuff, that like, you know, they sit together and have breakfast together. And like, I don't know. Okay, listen, I feel like I'm about to go on a tangent about sitcoms now. I feel like, you know, you watch shows, and at least like ones I've seen, this sounds silly, but it's always really bright in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, everything's really cheery and bright and all that kind of good stuff. And like, everybody's eating breakfast together. And like, I don't know, I feel like, you know, when I was growing up, and like even now, it's like when you get up to go to work and go to school, I feel like it's so early in the morning that it's not that bright out. Like, And like, I guess maybe because I'm not a morning person, I feel like I'm just not up and bright and cheery. Like, I'm just like, why am I awake right now? Like, I don't know. Like, let me know. Like, have you ever thought that? Or do you actually like get up when it's like bright and that's what your morning is like? I don't know. I'm curious. Cause like, that's just not what my mornings are like. And like, not that my mornings are bad. They're just like, I don't know. Like, I just never felt like my mornings were as bright and cheery as like sitcoms. Anyways, I know like this sounds so weird. I don't even know like how I got started on this. Oh, I was talking about like the breakfast nook, which also in The Sims doesn't like actually, I don't know, it doesn't function the same way I feel like it does like in real life in terms of like kind of more of an informal like seating dining space and having like a more formal dining space. And because I feel like that's something that happens like for some people, like you have this really nice formal dining space that you almost never use, but then you have like your normal kitchen table that, you know, you might use more often, like if you actually have a separate dining room. And I don't know, like growing up for a long time, we didn't, and then we ended up moving when I was a little bit older, and we did have, like, a dining room like that we didn't really use very often, unless it was, like, you know, the holidays or something. I don't know, like, let me know, like, what is it like for you? Do you have, like, a, like, formal dining room that you never use, or, you know, that kind of thing? But, like, in The Sims, like, your Sims are gonna eat wherever, you know what I mean? Unless you tell them where to eat. So, like, if you want to, like, play that where, like, your Sims eat breakfast together and you tell them to go eat kind of in their breakfast nook, if you can get Sims to eat all together at the same time in the same place, you know what? You're an amazing Sims player. At least you're a better Sims player than me. I swear, like, when I try to get my Sims to do the same thing in the same place at the same time, it is like, it is such a struggle. Like, I will get, like, 3 of the Sims to sit down, but the 4th one is just off doing something else. Or, like, you know, they're late and it's like they're eating alone. I don't know. And, like, I struggled with this when I was... so I used to do a lot of screenshots with Sims in the build, which I do enjoy a lot, but it is a whole lot of work. Like, it's because you have to get Sims to do stuff perfectly, and they never do. They really never do. But, like I said, in this kitchen, we have this really nice galley kitchen, and I tried to do something interesting over in the corner. You can see I'm starting to mess around like with the shelf, because what I realized was I don't have a trash can. So then I kind of replaced one of the counters with like a shelf, and then we put like the coffee on top of it, and we had like the trash can underneath, and I was hoping that it would work how I think it was gonna work. It didn't. So in the final like version of the home, I end up actually putting a counter right there, so like it's just going to be a normal counter there with the coffee maker on it, and we end up moving the trash can into the like breakfast kind of nook area, which is like right there off to the side, because I just didn't feel like there was a great place for it, and I was too in love with just having that really nice clean like galley kitchen look that I don't know. I wish we could have like a pull out cabinet trash can. You know what I mean? Like the ones that are inside of the kitchen cabinets so you can pull out and throw your stuff away, so it's like you don't actually have a trash can sitting out, which I feel like would be super fun. I feel like I've seen that, or I've been like at other people's homes. I've never had that, but I always thought it was kind of cool. But I also feel like just thinking about it right now, like, I don't know, like what if your trash is smelly? Does it make your whole cabinet smell gross? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, that's stuff I'm thinking about now. Like, so let me know if that's something, you know the answer to. And I feel like I've said that a lot. Like, let me know. Just, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I guess I just feel like getting your opinions today. Like, that's what's happening. I don't know. I feel like I'm talking about all these things, like, in my experiences. And I feel like that's what, when you build, you draw on a lot of, like, your own experiences. And, like, that's the most natural thing to do. And I will say, originally, I thought I was going to put the dining space out there. So we have these lovely windows and, like, a gorgeous formal dining room. But here's what happened. I ended up, like, when I was doing the living room space, I ended up having this, like, large empty area that was just like, didn't really have a purpose, and I didn't just want to fill it with like nothing, if that makes sense. And so we end up moving basically the dining room, like all the pieces of it end up just moving to another location, and I end up splitting this area into the laundry room and the breakfast nook. So that ends up like just kind of being repurposed, so you can actually see like from the top floor down into the breakfast nook, which I think is kind of fun. Like, I don't know. I feel like if that really was a house, like kids would definitely be throwing stuff down that area, like from the second floor. But It's The Sims. We don't have to worry about it. But I just thought it was something really cool architecturally that you could still see like Sims from the second floor, like even though they're down there like eating breakfast or something. And so here we have this like entranceway, foyer area, and I end up just kind of keeping it simple. Like I put a like the cats and dogs, I don't know, what is that called? I don't know. Cabinet, and I end up, if you push it into the wall just a little bit, you can actually put that thing from Everyday Clutter, the one that's got like the keys and the hooks and everything, and it kind of like perfectly fits on it. So just as a tip, like something like kind of making a new piece of furniture from an existing one, so kind of putting that stuff on there, and I think it just kind of added to that entranceway. Like we come in and throw our stuff there, that's where we keep our mail. But I also actually end up having like a mud room, which basically, like, I don't know if you've ever heard of that term, but basically the idea being an area where you would like take off your dirty shoes and like that kind of thing, like we just came in from outside, basically kind of like an entranceway, just I don't know, basically just with more storage is kind of what it feels like. And we actually have that by the back door. So I figured, yeah, if the kids are outside playing, they come in, they can take their shoes off. Like that's where like they keep their jackets, maybe that kind of thing. Like maybe that's how they go out to the car when they go to school. Like obviously this is all made up. This is like, that's not necessarily something the Sims do, but I like to think about it that way. When I'm building these homes, it's like this weird thing where I'm building this home as if it were like a human home. Like that sounds weird. Basically a home that someone would actually use in real life versus like in The Sims. And I think that's interesting. Like we do that, and I say we, but I feel like some people do, including myself, build it, and it's just not how The Sims would use it, but you like playing with it as if that were the way the Sims use it. I don't know. And we end up using just a bunch of like greens in here, kind of pulling from the green that's outside of the house. And you can also see I have that random piece of panel by the front door. Don't worry, it's fixed. And this is already up on the Sims 4 gallery if you want to download it under my ID, Spice and Sprinkles, all one word, all lowercase, and down in the description if you want to see it written out. And as usual, download it, you know, if you need to redecorate it or basically just make it fit like how you're going to actually play with your Sims. But I did fix that. I don't know what it is sometimes when I paint the inside of a house, like a piece will randomly be painted outside the house. Like, I don't know why it does that. Like, does that happen to anybody else, or is that just me? Am I doing something weird when I'm building that causes it to do that? I don't know, but I do fix it. And it happened upstairs a couple times too, which is so weird. I don't know. Like, it makes me feel like I am doing something funny and like that's causing the game to do that, but don't worry, it is fixed. And even if it like glitches out and does it again, you can simply just repaint the outside of that house. And this has been play tested, so everything does work. Except for the laundry, I did not test the laundry, but I don't anticipate you having any problems with the laundry. There should be plenty of room around it, all that good stuff, but like that's the only thing I didn't test. And I don't think I've ever used that swatch of that painting, but I just thought the green looked so pretty and lively in here that I wanted to use it. And then, so this is when I realized, like, I ended up having this, like, really empty space. I end up, like, right there by the stairs. I make this, like, an office area. So we have a computer and a chess table and I believe I have a bookcase in here as well. And then that space to the right is actually where we put the like mud room that I was talking about. But I was left with that big open space still next to the living area, and I didn't want to make the living room area any larger, and so that's why I ended up moving the dining area over there and then kind of splitting up that area in the back of the house. I had originally had thought about like I really went through a thought process here, because at this point I wanted to move that, and I was like, wait, well, you know, what if I made that like the parents' bedroom, you know what I mean? Like, and just maybe expand the house in the back a little bit and just make it like a owner suite, you know? But then I remembered I kept forgetting to. Then I remembered that there's a big opening to the second floor, and that just felt weird. Like, I didn't want somebody's bedroom to be there, and you can see it from the second floor. Because I was like, oh, I could add, like, 2 kids' bedrooms upstairs. But anyways, I ended up not doing that because of the giant hole in the ceiling that it would have. And I didn't want to lose that feature of the home because I was really in love with it. So, and honestly, the table fits so nicely here. Your Sims can definitely navigate around it and not have any issues. So I just thought it was a lot nicer this way. And then just adding in a bunch of storage here in this mudroom where, again, like, I put a lot of stuff outdoors for, like, the Sims to do. So, like, thinking, yeah, this is where they put that stuff. And we also have a half bath right here as well, because I figured if you have Sims coming over, like, and you have a bunch of Sims in the house, like, you know, you want as many bathrooms as possible, basically. And so we have that half bath there. And it feels like it kind of makes sense to be by the back door. I don't know why. It just kind of felt like the most like not weird place. I feel like I've been in homes where the half bath is like right off the living room or the dining room, and I don't know why that feels weird to me. Like, it's just, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, like, I don't feel like it's as private if I was using the bathroom and, like, people are, like, literally right there on the other side of the wall watching TV. I don't know. Is that weird? Or maybe I guess it's more so maybe when I'm, like, at other people's houses and have to use the restroom. So having this one off to, like, the, not next to, like, where everybody else would probably be if you were hanging out, like, made sense to me. And then in here, I just added a bunch of clutter. I have 2 different, like, laundry baskets in here, which I feel like helps a little bit because, you know, especially if you have a bunch of Sims, they create a bunch of laundry and, you know, just like real life. And you can actually have the Sim add both loads to the washer at the same time, at least in my experience. So, you know, you don't have to wash clothes then as often. You know what I mean? So I end up putting 2 in there because it seems like excessive, but at the same time, I think it makes gameplay a little bit easier when you're actually dealing with laundry. And, you know, in case you don't use laundry very often or you don't know, the the dryer likes to catch on fire. Be sure to always clean out your lint trap. And that's true of real life too. If you have a dryer, clean out your lint trap. It is a fire hazard. And I'm saying that because, like, I don't know, recently I was talking to somebody and, like, people didn't know that you should do that. And so, I don't know. I just, like... I don't know why I'm giving, like, life advice while I'm doing a speed build, but I don't know. I was just thinking about it. I was thinking about the dryer and it catching on fire. You know, empty your lint trap. It's important. And so, like I said, we end up adding some cabinetry in here. I figured, you know, maybe this is where they keep their bread box. Maybe that's where their bagels and toast and, like, I don't know. I just thought it was a really cute idea just to have more storage. And right over there is where we end up actually putting the trash can. Like I said, I think I did that off camera, so you'll see it kind of in the screenshots and, you know, but it's not that big of a change and it all works. Like, what's up on the gallery is also going to be that way. It's going to have the trash can moved. And then, so this is actually going to be the parents' bedroom, and I'm not going to lie, I struggled a little bit with it, and I also chose to do carpet in both of the bedrooms, which I feel like for me is uncommon. I always lean towards having, like, a hardwood or something, because that's just, like, I don't know why, because I don't think I've ever lived in a house that had hardwood in the bedrooms. Why do I do that then in The Sims? I don't know. Maybe because I don't care too much for the, like, carpet swatches, but I don't know. I just thought it was a nice touch. And again, just, like, super cozy, like, family vibes, I guess. I don't know. And then bringing in here just a lot of those, like, white creams, like, beigey tones. Beigey's not a word, but, like, you know what I mean. And then just having pops of green and some of that, like, mauvey, burgundy, pink, you know, kind of whatever you want to call that color that's there in the curtains. And kind of, I feel like it is, you know, reflected in that couch as well from the Book Nook kit, which I feel like I've been using that more than I thought I would. But I think the pillows do a lot for that couch. Well, first of all, it's a smaller one, and the pillows just make it a lot more useful in terms of, like, being able to match it to different decors. Like, it has, like, really nice neutral swatches in terms of, like, the bigger cushions, but then they're, like, accent pillows. You could use that in more places. And this may be maybe the second time I've actually used these luggage shelves, but I thought it looked super cute here and kind of gave a nice focal point because I didn't necessarily want to put another TV in here, and I didn't want to put, like, another mirror in here because I didn't feel like we needed it. And I also wanted to keep it, like, not quite as cluttered, but still kind of interesting because I didn't do anything in terms of, like, bold wallpaper or bold, like, you know, comfort or anything like that. I just wanted it almost to have this really nice, serene, cozy vibe. And I think, you know, we achieved that. I think we finally got there. It took me a minute, but I think we finally made it. And for this bathroom, it is a large bathroom. We do include a separate shower and bathtub. And so this has been play tested. It all works. And I knew I wanted not just a single sink. Ideally I had wanted a double, but I didn't want to put, like, I ran into an issue with the window. I didn't want to lose the window because I just thought that idea was so beautiful to have that, like, big window in the bathroom. But also, like, I didn't want to put really, like, I didn't really want to put the toilet in front of it. I didn't want to put the sink in front of it. So it kind of limited where I could put stuff. I also couldn't put, like, the shower in front of it. So, you know, it just kind of, you know, took me a minute to figure out, but I think we got there and it all fits in and your sim can use everything. And then for the kids' bedroom, I do use a bunk bed. So there's room for 2 kids in there. I mean, honestly, if you wanted to pack more kids in there, you could. So if you wanted to add, like, another bunk bed or something, you're of course free to do so. But I kind of went with, I I felt like maybe these kids, because I'm thinking like kid age specifically, that they were really like maybe into the color blue, but also into this like kind of more nature-y vibe. So I have like the mountains in the, I was gonna say the bookcase. That's not, but that's a rug. The mountains in the rug. We have, it kind of reminds me of like a rainbow in that top bed, and the bottom bed has like the clouds. And then like I kind of mimic that in the curtains as well. Like we've got that like really pretty, like almost landscape kind of looking, and just kind of using a lot of blue in here because I just thought it was like just really pretty, and I just thought that's what these like kids were into. And I also in their ensuite bathroom, so they also have an ensuite, which is kind of nice, and so they have a shower tub combo as well. And of course, if you want to add, a dog or something to this build, like you can. And I say add to this build as if like the dog is an item. But if you have a dog living in this house, there's, 2 places that they can get bathed, and toddlers too. If you decide that you want to have some toddlers, they can bathe and do what they need to do. And I honestly really love the way their bathroom turned out. I end up actually using the Snowy Escape tile. So I've used before for kids like the Snowy Escape tile that had the like cats on it, but this one I used the landscape because, again, like thinking that these kids liked nature and like the blue color, that like this would be, I don't know, really nice for them. And it turned out just so bright and lively in here. I really like the way it turned out because I don't think I've ever used that like mountain tile, but it ended up working out really well. And I brought in a little bit of extra color there with the elephants. And again, because they're still kids, like these things are still colorful. Like I didn't want it to just be blue, like, but I wanted it to still be, like for kids. And so just adding in here like kind of just a bunch of clutter things. I felt like the kids would just have all kinds of stuff and like need all kinds of things, like, and you can see I kind of put that little towel holder thing on the back of the door. Your sim can walk through that. That's not an issue. Like it doesn't open with the door, but, and I feel like I've mentioned that before because sometimes I'll put like bathrobes and stuff on there, but your sim can walk through it. It won't move with the door, but I just liked the added like storage kind of idea there. And then just adding a little bit of decor with the landing. And then this is actually going to be kind of the like kids area. So I put in like 2 desks for these kids. We end up having the chemistry table. We have like an art table. I include the scouting board. I think I also include like a violin, which I think I actually end up moving the violin to their bedroom. And because what I ended up doing when I was doing the kids' bedroom, I remembered that there were sleeping bags, which I've never used. They came with Get Together. I've never used them, and like I didn't use it in there. I was like, maybe I'll use it out there, and then I forgot. So I ended up moving the like knitting thing for the kids and their violin into the bedroom, and then I actually put a sleeping bag there because I figured that might be fun if they had a friend sleep over or something. Like that's something they could use, and it just felt like just so cute and adorable, and like I don't know, I just like the idea. And you can kind of see like here what I mean about like you're able to look down into the first floor, and I just thought it looked so cool. And we're going to go with the fact that, this is safe. Kids aren't going to jump over the railing or anything like that. Like this is safe for them. And again, it's The Sims, so it doesn't really matter. Like they will stay safe and all that kind of good stuff. And then finally returning to the exterior to finish this up. And like it's weird. I felt like I kind of went back and forth. Like I started it and then like I came back to it. And even out here, I include some skill building items as well. So there's plenty for your Sims to do while they're out here. We end up, like I said, putting in a basketball goal. And then it's not like the full thing. Like I don't think you can have like a full game necessarily, but you can go out there and like practice and dribble and stuff like that, so you can still like get the skill up. I think I also include like the woodworking table. I honestly make kind of like a sandbox for the kids. I include like a swing set, and like I think it turned out really nicely. Like your Sims are gonna have a lot of stuff to do here, and it was so funny. Again, I told myself like I'm gonna keep the landscaping really minimal, and then like I put a bunch of it. I just can't help it. I think it looks so pretty. I know I mentioned it recently, like I need to actually look up like a minimalistic build and really try to do that. So yeah, and also, so someone had suggested in a comment that I come up maybe with a hashtag to where you all can like upload like Sims families that like I could build for kind of thing. So let me know if that's something you're interested in doing, and I'll look into trying to find a hashtag for us to use, because I think that'd be kind of fun, like something like to inspire me for a specific build and would help y'all out as well. So, and then I can check it periodically, when I when I want to be inspired by actual Sims. So I don't know, let me know if that's something that you want to do, because I just think that would be kind of entertaining. And I was going to include the cheer mat here, but that's more of a teen thing, I believe. And I was thinking these were kids. So of course you can add it later, you know, once they age up, or if you have a teen, but I just figured it wouldn't be necessarily the most appropriate thing for this home, because nobody in the family could use it. And then actually, I don't know, can adults use the cheer mat? I don't know, clearly I've not used it very often or like basically ever, but just kind of including some more flowers there around the basketball goal there in the back. And we do end up putting like a grill and a large table there out on that patio, so your Sims can go hang out there and have a good cookout and that kind of good stuff. And I do off camera, I end up adding some lights around all of the landscaping, so it's like well lit and all that kind of good stuff. I tried to remember to do it before I turned off like my recording, but I forgot. So so everything's gonna be really nicely lit and all of that kind of good stuff. And then I don't end up putting the monkey bars here. I really was back and forth trying to figure out, you know, what I really wanted to include back here, but I ended up not including it. And in the sandbox, I did use the sand from Island Living, which I believe gives you the ability to actually build sandcastles in it. I believe. Like, let me know if I'm wrong, but I think that's the case. So I thought that'd be fun for a kid's sandbox, and like I include a like dollhouse out there and a toy box, and I end up putting like the football and the soccer ball, like all that kind of stuff out there, because I just thought that'd be really cute and like a place for the kids to hang out and play. And then of course the swing set as well, like putting that out there. And I do end up actually adding a gate as well, so you can get into the backyard from like the driveway area as well, so you know your Sims have multiple routes, because this is like a larger lot, it feels like, and there's like to get around, like I wanted to make sure your Sims could easily route where they needed to be. So we do add that in there, and then I do end up adding kind of like a stone pathway as well to get to places, and then adding a few more patches of like flowers and stuff to just kind of complement the path that we have going through here as well. And I think it turned out really lovely. I was really back and forth too about like including a pool, but I don't know, I feel like I've been doing that lately, and like I don't know, I also don't know if that's really realistic for, you know, to always have a pool, you know what I mean? So I wanted to actually build one that didn't have a pool, and also, you know, that way you don't have to worry about your Sims like getting in the pool when they're exhausted, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to have to worry about that all the time, because I feel like Sims like to do that. They're like, oh, I'm exhausted, I should go swimming. Like, no, maybe you shouldn't, but they'll do it anyways. So anyways, just adding in, like I said, that toy box and the dollhouse there for the kids, so they have like plenty to do. And of course that can get swapped out later for the cheerleading mat or whatever else that would be good for them, or workout equipment, or you know, whatever it is that they need once they age up, and like whatever skills they're actually trying to work on. So again, just adding in then a few finishing touches of clutter, like a birdhouse and that kind of thing, just to make it feel a little more homey. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye everybody.